Do you by any chance have a story about a mouse?
I have several, but I'm only going to tell one. And this story takes place in Amsterdam one summer when I was a tourist. My friend and I were on our way from the Rembrandt house back to the central square. We crossed many canals, and looking over the bridge of one canal, I saw two men and a woman in professional clothing. They looked like they were on lunch break. And they were standing at the edge of the canal, which was some steps down from the bridge, looking at something in the water. And being of a curious sort, I ran down there and said, "What is it?" And the woman said to me, "It is a mouse." And I looked down and I said, "Oh, yes." Then they wandered off. And I watched this little mouse trying to swim to safety. I'll just call it it. It mouse paddled to the edge of the canal, which was very slippery with green moss and wet green moss. Tried to pull itself up, but the moss was too slippery and it fell back at the teeny tiny plop. And then it would mouse paddle to the edge again and try. 3 times I watched it do that. And I was very fervent in my religion in those days. And I said, "Oh God, give me an idea." And I got one. I took off my cardigan and I held it over the canal with the sleeve opening aimed at where the mouse was. And I let it down until it was in the water. I waited a few seconds and then I gently pulled it up and there was no mouse in the water. So I brought it all the way up and shook it, and this little wet mouse fell into my hand. And I took a tissue and I patted it, and I put my cardigan back on and I put the mouse in my pocket. And it stayed there for the rest of the afternoon. And then I put it in a glass cup in the hotel room with some crackers, little bits of cracker and some cheese. And I knew that it needed a home, but where do you go in Madagascar if you're a mouse?
Amsterdam.
Oh yeah, not Madagascar, in Amsterdam. So we went walking and came upon a restaurant which had deep window wells, and this one window happened to be partly open. So I thought, well, at least there's food in there. There might be a cat, but life is full of risks, and this is the best I could do. So I took the mouse out of the pocket and put a cracker and some cheese down in the window well and dropped the mouse down in there, and I said, "God bless you, you're on your own." And that's it. That's the end of that story.
Until the restaurant was closed for health violations when the inspector
House
came
dirt and the food.
the following year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are too many.